Welcome to the Swim Swam podcast. I'm today's host, Coleman Hodges, and joining us today, she is an NCAA champion as a part of the Stanford Women's 800 Free Relay, NCAA runner-up this year at the 2025 Women's NCAA Championships in the 500 Free and 1650 Free, four-year member of the Stanford Women's Swim and Dive team, and winner of the Elite 90 Award for Division I. Today we are sitting down. And officially swammer. Today we're sitting down with Aurora Roghair. Aurora, thanks so much for being here. How's it going?
Pretty good. Thank you for having me. It's been a crazy few days, I feel like.
This episode of the Swim Swam podcast is sponsored by Commit Swimming, Swim Swam's exclusive team management software partner. Since 2015, Commit has been providing coaches with swimming's leading workout management software. And now, Commit has team management software too. Commit wants to help you make the switch from Team Unify to a simpler, more powerful solution. Their onboarding and customer service team will walk you through every step of the way. Check them out at commitswimming.com to book your demo today. That's COMMIT swimming.com. So I guess first of all, can you just take me through this decision for you? Obviously, I think it's safe to say you had the best swimming year of your career this year. Once again, second in the 500 free and the mile at NCAAs. You were top 16 in the 200 free, NCAA champion as a part of that relay. And now you're calling it quits. What went into that decision for you?
Yeah, I think it was always going to be hard deciding when to be done with something that has been such a big part of my life for so long, and a lot of the best parts I think have come along with swimming and all the best people that I've met. But I am really looking forward to what's more to come for me. I know I have future plans and stuff, so excited about all of that and happy, super proud of where I've come. I feel like I never really imagined being able to accomplish the stuff that I was here or even in club when I was a little kid. So super proud of myself. And then I feel like ending after this year is exciting. And then just seeing how good our team is also really fun because I mean, I'm not gonna be leaving the sport. I'll still be cheering for my teammates and everything, and they're gonna have a really good year next year. So it's exciting to be able to see that from this point of view and be their cheerleader now.
Yeah, I bet. It's always fun to to transition to just cheering, a little less responsibility,
Yeah.
right? uh,
Definitely.
I pulled up your commitment post on SwimSwam that was from August 7th, 2020. So you
Oh,
committed to
yeah.
Stanford almost 5 years ago now.
Mhm.
And because I wanted to see what your best times were at that time. What 148.4 in the 200
Uh-huh.
free, 447.4 in the 500 free, and 1635 in the mile, which pretty significant. To give our audience some context, you were 143.0 in the 200 free. This is at NCAAs just a few weeks ago. 433.9 in the 500 free, and 15:39 in the mile. So almost a minute drop there. Have in making this decision to step away, have you reflected how much you've grown as a swimmer just in these 4 years at Stanford?
Yeah, for sure. I think when it was happening, I feel like I was lucky enough that it was I was slowly making progress each season. I was getting a little bit better. So I think I didn't really realize how far I had come until I took my step back and realized where I started and where I am now. So that was super cool to think back on because I mean, that was the times that I went, I still am sometimes in shock about because I'm like, I can't believe that I did that. Because especially in high school, I was like, oh, like if I could just drop a little bit more in my events, I would be happy. Or if I can qualify for NCs, like all of my dreams would be made. And so I think it's crazy how much things have changed. But yeah, I think the minute is actually very surprised. I feel like that benchmark, and I know it's like a longer race, so it's easier to drop more time. But I remember Stanford posted one of those like time drop Tuesdays, and they
Mhm.
put like the times back to back. And some of my friends from home were like, "Oh my gosh, that's almost a minute." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I didn't even realize that, but that's crazy." So yeah,
That's
a lot to be proud of.
no kidding. I mean, dropping a minute in any event over any amount of time, I mean, that is success or, that's improvement. Um, which is I'm sure very cool to see. Yeah, I am
Mhm.
curious what, if any, your goals were coming into Stanford as a freshman. You mentioned just qualifying for NCAAs or just going best times.
Yeah, I think I was always scared to have bigger goals and vocalize them to other people because it just made it feel a lot more real. But I think, yeah, I think my overall goal was always just to make like a meaningful impact on a team. And so that whether that was like in practices, being like a cheerful spirit or like pushing training a little harder for everybody else around me. And then obviously, like I always wanted to be able to score points at NCs. I didn't know if that was gonna be a possibility for me. I think what is really crazy to think about now is I remember freshman year midseason, we were at the GAC, I'm pretty sure,
Mm.
and I did the mile and I got out, and everyone was, like, super excited, and, like, some of my teammates were crying, and I was like, "I don't really know what's going on." And then I went over to the coaches, and they were like, "I think that's gonna make the meet, like, you're probably gonna make the meet." And I remember going to the cool down pool being so confused because I was like, they gotta be lying, like, there's no way." So I think that was pretty surreal, and then
And
every
what year
year,
was
I
that? That was
that
your
was my
freshman year?
freshman year. Yeah. So, never expected to make it that year, I think. I always wanted to, obviously, but I was always scared to, like, put those expectations on myself, and then I think obviously each year, I think I set higher expectations and higher goals for myself, so, like, my goals had changed a lot going into college from my freshman to my sophomore and then every year after that, but yeah, I never thought I could accomplish the things that I've been able to do with this team and these coaches, so I'm so thankful for all of them and everyone that's been a part of it, and even my, like, high school and club coaches, like, they've always believed in me more than I think I believed in myself, so I'm grateful that I had such supportive mentors and everything, and they would always tell me that I was like, "You are able to do all of this," and I'd be like, "No, I don't I don't believe it," but slowly they helped me build more confidence and trust in myself, so that's awesome, even, like, beyond swimming, so that's always cool to hear.
Yeah. I'm curious what your goals were for this season and if you ended up meeting those, after having all those building blocks.
Mhm. Yeah, I think I really wanted to make or I wanted to score in all of my events, so I was happy I did that. I think the 200 has been hard for me over the last 4 years. It's always the event that I can't quite figure out, but I think I talked to you after the relay and I was like, "Yeah, I'm really excited. I think I did my race plan exactly how I wanted to, and it went how I wanted it to go." So that was super exciting. I feel like that was a good, like, culmination of all of the practices and all of the, like, race prep I've been doing for that event. So I was super proud about that. Thought I executed that really well. Um, and then my other events, I'm really happy about them. I think it was, hard how good of a mid-season we all had, and
Mm.
going those times, I think might have set some of my expectations a little bit higher for myself. but I think taking each meet in the context of what it is important. So I was really happy with my races and I had so much fun with the team. So that's always more important. And it was just so much fun watching everyone else do really well. And I feel like I was feeding off of their energy and like getting excited for them. So that was probably the most fun that I had, just being with everybody one last time.
I like that you brought up mid-season and just the taking for each meet for what it is, because
Hmm.
NCAAs it can be such a pressure cooker of a meet. There's so
Yeah.
much stress. And I think swimming is in a place at collegiate swimming where we're seeing people swim fast all season, right?
Hmm.
And so it's like you can have your best meet outside of NCAAs, I think a lot more easily now than maybe 10 or 20 years ago, just because of how training is going and how preparation for meets is changing. Um, why do you think midseason went so well for you or for the team? Like what was unique about that meet for you?
Yeah, I think what you said is true. Like we're everyone around the nation, I think, is swimming a lot faster all the time, which is super cool. I think going into midseason, we had a lot of momentum through like we hit the ground running preseason and didn't really give up any of that. Like we just kept going coming out of trials, which can sometimes be hard in like the Olympic year. But we like set our team values up pretty early and we got super close as a team and I think that helped a lot. And like we started fighting for each other and what we wanted to make of the season. So having the long-term goals I think from the very beginning is always helpful, and like setting your eyes on the prize but also not like only going all in for NCs, because yeah, like you said, it's such a different meet than anything else. And the cool thing about it is all you have to do is worry about racing. You don't really like the time doesn't matter anymore. Just trying to race the people around you. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Did did the times you went at midseason surprise you at all?
Oh yeah. I didn't really expect that, I guess. I talking to the coaches is always funny because I'm always like, yeah, I didn't really know how I was gonna feel, didn't know how that was gonna go. But I mean, they always they always believe that I can do so much better than I think. And so I think it took me a lot of time over the years to like believe them and like have full confidence in myself. And I still struggled with that. But like our relationships have gotten so much better that like when I need help before a race, like they know what to say to calm me down. And I think that meet was just so fun because everyone was swimming fast. Like, obviously, I was racing Jillian, and those races were super fun because she pushed me to have the like my fastest times. And but like just across the pool, everyone was having good races. So I think like every day it got a little bit more exciting and a little bit more fun. And that meet is also just more fun, I think, because we go home for a little bit after. So it's like this is the last hurrah, and then all of our families are there. So I love mid-season. I think it's a fun time and a lot less pressure, I would say, because it's not like end of season yet, but just fun to see people starting to qualify for NCs already that early.
Totally. And I think that that makes a lot of sense to me. And I feel like, yeah, we're going to keep seeing that trend because people have figured out how to swim fast all season, I think.
Yeah.
And mid-season, yeah, comes with a lot less stress, right? You're just kind of
Mhm.
seeing where we are, or having that checkpoint throughout the season. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So flash forwarding to NCAAs, which a little more pressure and stress.
Mhm.
Was one of your goals for the season to negative split a 500 free?
Yeah,
I don't know how we
I
missed this or how I missed this at NCAAs. Did you know that you negative split your 500 free?
like 250 to 250 I did?
Yeah,
Oh,
by
no, I
four
did not know that.
by four one
4 seconds.
hundredths.
Oh, 4 1 okay, I was like, "What?" Oh, no, I did not know that. I the I think we realized that my races are the best when I am able to, like, take it out smooth and controlled and then build from there because 'cause I'm better at, like, descending each thing, so and that helps me, like, mentally going into a race when I'm like, "Okay, this is what I'm doing, like, first 150 strong or whatever, and then I can make small speed changes from there," and so
Mhm.
that's what I've been practicing for the last few I don't know, the year and a half, I guess, so making those small speed changes, but I always thought it was more in the 1,000 and the mile, I didn't know it was enough to negative split a 500, but that's cool to hear, I guess. I think it's the best way to swim it, so if I knew it was a possibility, it probably would have been my goal, but I think going in, it was part of the race strategy, but usually it doesn't end up actually being like that because my first 100's always faster than I can end in, but that's funny.
Yeah, I was just looking at your results, from the meet before this, and I noticed that you and Jillian were the only 2 swimmers of the field to not have a 28-50 split the whole
Um,
time, and then it was like, "Oh, you were 2:16.96 at the 250," and I was like, "But you went 4:33.9, like, hold on. Wait a second. So you were 2:16.96 to 2:16.94. I'm sorry,
that's
2
funny.
100ths, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
2 100ths. So you basically even split it, but it was also funny because at at the 250, Anna Poplawski, who ended up getting 3rd, was 2:14. She was, over 2.5 seconds ahead of you.
Mhm.
So very different race strategy for her. Did that play into how you saw that race at all?
I think that was one of the hardest things for me to get used to when I started doing the race strategy of descending everything,
Mm,
is that I would, like, see other people and I'd get a little bit freaked out because 'cause I'd be like, "I don't really know where that means I am," or, like, "They're taking it out pretty fast, like, I don't know if I should try to, like, stay a little closer to them." So I had a lot of conversations with Greg, and then I just had to, like, learn how to trust myself and kind of block out whatever everyone else was doing around me until the back half of the race when I could be like, "Okay, like, it's time to race, like, doesn't matter anymore what I'm thinking, I'm just gonna let it go and just go for it." But I think I got a lot better after doing it a few times and seeing that, like, it was the best strategy for myself, but it's always hard when I'm doing the 200 or I'm doing the 500 and I'm at the 200 and I'm like, "Well, this I don't really know what this means, but it doesn't look great." But then it's a lot of fun to see just how much I can race at the end.
yeah. I mean, it's just, I mean, I feel like the 500 can be like that sometimes, right? Where
Mhm.
halfway through, the field looks completely different than
Yeah.
at the 450 or at the conclusion of the race, but that one, I think that final especially was particularly jarring because Anna Poplawski went out. So, I mean, she was 3.5 seconds ahead of you at the, is that math right? Yeah, she was almost 3.5 seconds ahead of you at the 200. I mean, it was, yeah, kind of insane.
Yeah, I
Um,
think that's what makes the race so fun to like that and the 200 because everyone has such different
yeah.
approaches to it and everyone can go so fast with them. It's just whatever works best for them, but it makes it a lot of fun to watch because you're like, I don't know what's gonna happen until the end. So
Seriously. So then coming off of that, that 500 free, and as well as the pretty well executed for you 200 free on that winning relay. How are you feeling heading into that 200 free, and how do you feel like it ended up going both prelims and finals?
yeah, I think going into the 200, I was excited because I thought like I was like, okay, like I figured it out. I know how to do it. Because I was super happy with how the relay went. But I mean, it's always a little tricky coming out, like first coming out of the relay into the 500 and then coming out of the 500 into the 200. They're just such different races, and I know that, like, some people think they're all, like, well, I guess the people think the 500 a sprint versus some people think it's more of a distance race, but I
Mhm.
consider it more a sprint, the 200. So I think I have to, like, change my mindset a little bit where I'm like, "This is more of a sprint than the 500, but I can't sprint it because if I sprint it, it's not gonna be my race plan and it's gonna go pretty bad because I've done that sometimes and then I just get super spinny and that's not good." So I think the 200 always requires a lot more mental thinking for me. It's the event that I'm always the least confident in my race plan in because I've just struggled with it so much over the years. But I thought my prelim swim was a solid morning swim. I mean, obviously, it wasn't fast enough to make the A in that field on that morning, but, coming out of that, I thought that I had, like, I knew where I wanted to make all of my changes for the night, and I thought I did them. It didn't look like it when you look at the times or anything, but I was happy with how it went, excited about, I mean, that session was so much fun because that was like, I watched Brick win the 4 AM, and so it was pretty hard to focus on myself in that, which was cool because if you ever need like a little pick me up, you just see all the other cool things that everyone else is around you doing, and you realize, like, I still contributed points to the team, like, fight for, 2nd, and just, like, being there supporting everyone else is, like, what it's all about, and it's always bigger than yourself, so I think that was helpful in that moment because I think there was some disappointment from my end on that race, but, like, it never felt like that from anybody else, and I think that was great and exactly what I needed, so after that, kind of turning more focus on the mile, which I it's always nice that I have, like, until that next day to, like, decompress a little and relax, so.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, how do you feel like the transition of going from a 200 free to a mile goes?
Yeah, I think the 200 is always nice because it's like, "Oh, it's only, like, less than 2 minutes, and then you're done," but it's so hard, like, it hurts so bad, and then going into the mile, it's, like, completely the opposite, like, it also hurts really bad, but it's so much longer, so I I always like being able to have that morning off, and I feel like it's always pretty resetting for me to just like, that's the one where I get a loosen, and then I just solely get a focus on watching everybody else, which is, like, one of the only sessions that I can, like, actually see everybody because otherwise I feel like I'm always in the pool or, like, locking in on my own races, so I always appreciated that one because it's, like, a gentle reminder about, like, everything else that's going on and, like, seeing everybody else. So, I think that was super helpful for me going into the mile, and then, yeah, I think I like the mile because I get to build a lot of the first, like, 500, and I'm always feeling pretty solid, and then that's when the pain starts to set in a little.
Um, Especially on that last morning when you are just doing a loosen and then, kind of more in tune with what's going on with the team. What was the vibe knowing that you guys were in a very tight team race with Texas? I'm well, or if was that even on the radar for you all or for you?
Yeah, I think it was, initially, we weren't trying to, like, focus on that too much and focus more on what we were doing and, like, the controllables that we could control and just having a great rate or having great races, having a lot of fun, and, like, being there for everybody. But, yeah, I think near the end of the race, when things were, like, becoming a little bit more clear on where the team battles were, I think that was super exciting and added, like, a little bit more fuel to the fire, I guess. Not that we needed any more, we were all pretty hyped and excited, and I feel like we had a lot of momentum by that point in the meet. So, yeah, I think it's always about racing, so always trying to beat whoever's next to you, get your hand on the wall first, but it's always fun when it's like there's an extra little thing there.
Yeah. And then finishing that mile, did you know that that was your last race? I mean, obviously you knew it was your last race as like a a college athlete, but did you
Mhm.
know, did you have did you know you were going to step away from swimming after that?
Yeah, I think I was pretty sure I was done after that one. Um, it was cool because I feel like it brought me a lot of, like, peace knowing that in the race and also after, because I was, like, in the, like, award room after, and just talking to the other people who are also done was super cool, and, like, giving each other hugs and, like, congratulating everyone that we've been racing against for, I don't like, years. I don't even know how long, but I think that was super cool to finish it there with other people who are also in the same position. And then, I tried not to think about being done with swimming even until, like, the end of that session, because I wanted to be, like, fully in there and not get too emotional too early. But, after, like, the team award ceremony, I remember, like, walking over to some of my other my seniors on this team, and we were, like, starting to get a little bit more emotional, and I think we had, like, a big group hug at the end of that, and that was really cool, and one of my favorite memories. Someone took a photo of it too, and it's really cute.
Oh, that's awesome. Maybe we, maybe we can throw that photo in here if it's available somewhere. But
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that sounds like a great way to go out. Um,
Mhm.
and I mean, I know I talked to you after it at the meet, but becoming an NCAA champion, is something that was on your radar this season? I mean, I'm guessing certainly not coming into Stanford or even maybe your first 2 or 3 years there, but what about this year?
Yeah, I think this year, or yeah, it was never on my radar, the first 2 years. Like, the first 2 years, I just really wanted to make an A final. And then I think over the years, I started to learn and realize that, like, anything's possible with this team, and when you have, like, these people swimming with you. So, once I, knew I was on that relay, I think I was like, "Well," like, when I see you guys, I'm like, "I don't doubt that you're gonna have such a good race," and so then when you put all 4 of us together, I think, like, not that we were like, you can never nothing's, like, ever expected, I guess, but I think it was always a possibility for us, and seeing that happen was super surreal. I never let myself believe that I think that was a possibility, but, I still don't really believe it now sometimes when I think about it, but
Yeah, I mean, have you reflected on the fact that you are now an NCAA champion a few weeks removed?
yeah, yeah, I it it's been hard, I think now in, like, the transition period to not get, like, super sad that it's all over, but like I was kinda saying before, like, reflecting back and, like, taking that step back, I just am so grateful for everyone and everything that, like, swimming's brought into my life and helped me achieve, and that's just, like, one of the things that I'm most proud of. But I think from that moment, it wasn't even just, like, winning the national championship that was so cool. It was, like, seeing Kayla do her like, once she finished and she did, like, a cute little celebration, and then I think her getting out of the water and our whole team rushing over to us was, like, probably the best part of it, because I just felt, like, super loved, and it was so cool to, like, have everyone surround you and support you and be so happy for your success and, like, their success, obviously, because none of that would have been possible without all of them. So, I think getting out of the water, like, seeing it kind of happening, seeing the other people sort of pulling away, and then having literally our entire team on deck, like, ran over to us immediately. I think that was, like, my favorite memory of the meet and the part that I've been thinking about the most since then.
Yeah, that I mean, certainly a way to get the meet started and get the ball rolling
Mhm.
for Stanford, right? Uh, and then As I mentioned at the top, you were the recipient of the D1 Women's Elite 90 Award, which is given every year to the student athlete with the highest cumulative GPA who competes at the respective NCAA championships in their sport. You hold a 4.0, and you are pursuing a degree in human biology.
Mhm.
Was that expected on your part? And what was it like getting such a high honor like that? Again, for all the hard work that you have put in and out of the pool.
Yeah, no, I did not expect that at all. I think it was super cool to be recognized in that way, and, like, I don't take it lightly, like, that was super awesome. I feel like it's nice to recognize both parts of our lives here at school. Like, obviously, we wanna achieve super highly in the pool, but we're also, like, super high achieving in the classroom, and that's not something that I think a lot of people see a lot of the time because, I mean, we're, like, in our room studying or, like, going to classes, but yeah, that was super cool. I had seen people winning it in the past, like, I think Lindsay Looney won it last year, and that's super cool because 'cause we're kind of studying similar things in psychology now, I'm pretty sure, so that was cool. She's always a good role model.
Um, what I'm being at Stanford, uh, especially coming in as a freshman.
Mhm.
How do you feel like you were able to adjust to not only the swimming piece and the different training and the different athletic schedule, but also the academic schedule? Because I do feel like from everyone I've talked to who has been a student athlete at Stanford, it seems maybe a bit different, and just culturally, or the environment is a bit different than other universities.
Yeah, I think freshman year was a pretty hard transition for me. Luckily, my high school and my club teams, like my high school for school and my club team for swimming prepared me super well for the transition and they set me up with a really good foundation. And so it wasn't completely shocking. And then I had like advice from my sisters and from the other people on the team to go in. So I took a little bit of a lighter freshman fall quarter to help ease that transition, which I'm super grateful for because it helped me get a little bit settled and on my feet before I was like diving all in. But the swimming part was a big adjustment just because I wasn't really used to any of the longer distance trainings. My club did some, like, mornings of distance, but not really to the same extent that we do here, so I think that was a major adjustment for me over the first year and getting used to that, without feeling, like, super broken down all the time, so having to, like, tweak that schedule a little the first year, I think helped a lot every year after that, but yeah, in terms of school, we have so much support here at Stanford, like, there's always tutors that you can go to, or I liked studying, I like the athlete study hall here, just with other people because I take a lot of luckily, a lot of the people in my class here are studying all the same stuff as I am, so we have most of the same classes, so that's been super nice to help each other with, like, content that we're struggling with or, like, go over homework and stuff. But, yeah, I think I had to learn how to take advantage of the resources that we are given and, like, going to office hours, even if it's kind of annoying now to go, but it's always super helpful, so I think once I was able to do that, I, like, settled into my school and swim flow a lot better and then handled it.
It certainly seems like you handled it. Ma Maintaining a 4.0 at Stanford doesn't seem easy. D do you I know you've gotten used to it now, but, I mean, is it cool to reflect on all of the work you've put in? And, I mean, it obviously seems like a lot of effort, both academically and athletically for you.
Yeah, I think it's silly now because I'm I'm only in, like, one class this quarter because I just I finished all my grad requirements. So it's been fun for me to take a lot more of a relaxing chill quarter. So I get to do a lot more of the stuff that I want to do when I want to do it, which is awesome. But I think before it did I wasn't as good as at balancing like the school, swim, social aspect. So I think the first 2 years I spent a lot of my time focused on doing work or focused on recovering and stuff, which was I'm so grateful that I did that because it probably helped me get to where I am now. But I think over the last year, I got a lot, or last 2 years, I got a lot better at being able to like block in my schedule and dedicate certain times to certain activities and then also still have that time with my friends and stuff. So I think that was super nice because I mean, I was so much happier when I was spending more time with my friends. But yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's always worth it. I enjoyed all my classes, so it was fun doing it.
What's the one class this semester or this quarter? Sorry.
The one class this quarter, I'm going into clinical psychology, so I'm taking a class that's teaching me how to observe children and document their behaviors and question why they're behaving in the way they're doing. So it's super cool because I'm going to Bing Nursery, which is the nursery school here on campus, but that's where they did a lot of the psych studies, which is super cool. So a lot of the most well-known observations have happened there. And so the kids are super used to people watching them and observing them and having research studies, which is a little bit silly, but they don't even mind me. They're just playing around, which is it's so much fun for me. I just sit there for 3 hours watching them be kids and
Uh,
learning how to take notes and stuff. But yeah, that's my only class this quarter.
sounds like a pretty good gig.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
Nice. I guess on that note, what are your plans moving forward? Now, especially now that you're not tied down to 20 hours of training a week.
Yeah, so next fall, I'm going to Notre Dame for clinical psych grad school, which is super exciting. So, this quarter, I guess I'm kind of doing more of the setup for that. I'm TAing a class that I'm super excited about, that I took last year. So that's been fun. And then this summer, I guess I get to just travel and have it to myself before I go back to school for 5 to 6 more years.
Whew,
Yeah.
that's a lot. Well, that's exciting, and it's
Mhm.
very fun sounding. Did
Mhm.
did you ever consider, I mean, you're a member of the US national team. Did you ever consider prolonging your swimming career or going past these 4 years at Stanford?
Um, I think I considered it a little bit, but it'd be pretty hard with the school, all the school stuff next year. And I think I am just more excited to take a step back from that and then pursue my other interests. But yeah, I mean, it was a super hard decision, and I don't think any time it would ever be easy to leave, but right now, I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah. That's great to hear. I think any decision like that, one way or the other, if you feel good about it, it was, probably the right decision or probably
Yeah.
not a bad one.
Exactly.
That's great. Just a couple more questions about your collegiate experience. If someone listening to this was a younger kid who is looking to maybe look at Stanford, excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. Um, what do you feel like stood out to you about Stanford when you were in the recruiting process, as well as what do you feel like you did that helped you not only go to Stanford and have that opportunity, but as you said, adjust to Stanford and be able to succeed there once you were on campus?
Yeah. I think the part that stood out to me the most and still stands out to me the most is the people here. Um, I just I love this team and these coaches so much, and the other students at Stanford too. Like, I didn't know that when like 5 years ago, but, I think I was always super scared of leaving home because I'm from Iowa originally, so it's kind of a far travel day to get here, but, I was super scared of, like, leaving home and, like, being so far away from my family just because they mean so much to me, but I think the moment that I stepped on campus here, like, I never questioned my decision again because I was welcomed so warmly by everybody on the team. Because I was terrified. I was like, "I don't know if, like, people are gonna like me or if I'm gonna fit in," and, like, instantly all of those worries, like, fell away because everyone was so cool and so friendly, and I just know that when I'm with them, they want what's best for me, and I want what's best for them. And they're always gonna be there if I ever need them, and they're super supportive. So I think that's the best part about Stanford is the people here and the culture that we've created on the team. But what I did in high school to get here, that's a good question. I think, hmm. I think in high school I had which was it's always so hard, but I think I had to decide, like, what I wanted to do for myself, and then, like, I went after that fully, so which I am, like, super grateful that my family always let me follow my own dreams and, like, let me decide what I wanted to do and was fully supportive in whatever I wanted or decided to do. So I think that was the most fulfilling for me was once I was like, I wanted to swim, like, I wanted to go to all of these morning practices because I enjoyed it and I had fun there and I was happy at practice. Um, and then, like, all of the relationships that came from them made because it's really hard, but I think all the people at practice and my family made the whole process so much easier and so much more enjoyable that I didn't even have to, like, question what I was doing or why I was spending so much time in the pool or, like, studying for classes and stuff, so I think and it's not a very good piece of advice, but, like, I would advise everyone to do to, like, follow what makes them happy, and then, like, once you decide that for yourself, like, go after it, like, always believe in yourself because you never know what's possible.
I think that's great advice.
Yeah, it's I feel like it's you hear it a lot, but I think it's been the most true for me.
Yeah. I mean, uh, there's a reason you hear it a lot, right? Or
Yeah.
that, maybe it's a cliche, but I think
Yeah,
that's sound advice, especially for people who are wondering what might come next in their life.
yeah.
I did know that you were from Iowa. I'm from Missouri, so I'm a fellow Midwesterner.
Oh, awesome, okay.
That's a big change from Iowa. Where in Iowa?
Iowa City.
Okay, so Iowa City, I've been there for a Big Ten championships or two.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
Iowa City to Palo Alto, that's a pretty stark contrast. What was that adjustment like? Just the environment, because yeah, like you said, I don't know if you can find many similarities between those two.
Yeah, I think it's funny because growing up, I don't remember ever doing this, but my mom is always like, "You were always like, 'I'm gonna swim in California, I'm gonna swim outside.'" And so then when I finally did, she's like, "Ah, you always I always knew." And I was like, "Yeah, well, you coulda told me that earlier." But, yeah, I love the weather instantly. I mean, it's so nice here for most of the year, and I think swimming outside has been amazing because I'm used like, I swam outside, like, maybe a couple weeks in the summer at home just because I it would the, like, never worked out really well. And my club was always indoors because we had such nice facilities because we were at the University of Iowa.
Okay.
But
Yeah. Nice
yeah, it
pool.
was so yeah, very nice pool. So I was very lucky growing up. But yeah, it was so shocking to me here when I was like, you guys don't have an indoor pool. What if it storms? What are we gonna do? Like, does practice get canceled? But unfortunately, that never happened. It doesn't really storm here, I guess, and you can swim through rain. But yeah, I've loved it. I think it was a big adjustment. Also, I think the worst part, which you might be familiar with, is you get made fun of a ton for being from the Midwest. So that I was very impressed with myself. I made it most of the year, freshman year, without people making fun of me for being from Iowa. But then all of a sudden, like that March is when everyone like realized and it clicked, and that was the only thing that they said from then on. But that's probably the worst part of the adjustment is everyone shames Iowa, and I'm so proud of being from Iowa. I love Iowa. I will forever love Iowa probably, but people don't get it over here.
They really don't. And here's the thing, they might make fun of you, but they don't have anything to say because they don't know anything about Iowa. Am I right?
No. Yeah, some people have gone to, like, 1 juniors, I think
Mm,
a
mhm.
couple 10 years ago, maybe. So they're like, "I know, there's nothing to do there." You went for a swim like, you can't judge a play like, we don't have a ton of stuff to do, but there is stuff to do, and that's where butterfly was invented, which is my favorite comeback to them because it's a good one for the swimmers, and they're like, "No, it wasn't." I'm like, "It was.
I
My
didn't
whole
know that.
pool."
Wow.
"Oh, really?" "Yeah."
That's amazing. That's a great factoid to have, especially in swimming.
Yeah, so it helps a little in convincing them that I was awesome, but it doesn't do much. They forget about it pretty quickly.
Right, right. Yeah. Anytime, especially I moved to Berkeley for a year after, like, I lived in Columbia, Missouri,
Oh,
did my
yeah.
undergrad there, and then I moved to Berkeley for a year because my brother was going to grad school there. And
Mhm.
everyone I met in Berkeley, they were like, "Where are you from?" I was like, "Missouri." And they're like, "Oh, what's that?" They're
Yeah.
like, "I don't know where that is." And I was like, "Yeah, I know."
Mhm. I know, I started getting people laugh at me because now when people ask me, I'm like, "Iowa," and then I, like, kind of react early because 'cause I'm just so used to them making fun of me after. I don't
Mhm.
even give them a chance anymore, I just get a little defensive, but I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think it's warranted because Californians are just so in their own little world. I feel like yeah, they don't know. And,
They don't know.
Midwest, not too bad. It's not too
No.
bad. Well, I'm glad you were able to make the adjustment. How do you feel now going back to the Midwest to Notre Dame for Indiana or in Indiana?
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it's super nice that it'll be a lot closer to all my family because 'cause they're all either in, like, Iowa, Minnesota, or Missouri, so it'll
Mm,
be a lot easier to just make, like, a quick day trip, which is super exciting because I feel like I haven't seen them much over the last 4 years just because it's so hard with our, like, schedules aligning, and they're pretty busy, but, I'm super excited about that, and I'm just really excited about, like, fall I think I've always wanted to be a clinical psychologist, I think. Not always, but I always wanted to do something in this realm, so it was exciting once I've, like, narrowed down my passion more towards what I wanna do, and so I think that's what I'm most looking forward to in moving over there, is that I get to, like, start that whole process, and I'm researching stuff that I'm super passionate about with a great lab, so it should be good. Looking forward to, like, seeing all of that and engaging in the next step of that life.
You've been listening to the Swim Swam podcast. Stay tuned for new episodes every week. You can take Swim Swam podcast on the go by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Look for links in the description below, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos as well.